Uncertainty about Britain's public finances has been highlighted by what happened in the bond market today. After the Bank of England's warning about borrowing, bonds issued to raise money for public spending have failed to sell in full for the first time in years. The government insists that the shortfall can be made good in future sales. Our chief economics correspondent, Hugh Pym, has the details.
Tonight, investors in the City of London and far beyond are digesting the news that the government couldn't raise all the money it wanted to in the markets. Usually these things are a formality, but today's auction of bonds left some unsold, and it made news in financial capitals around the world.
There is trouble in the government debt markets today. The UK failing to attract enough money for a new debt issue, and it's the first time that's happened in about 7 years, long time.
It last happened in 2002. This failed auction could prove to be a one-off, but some wondered whether it pointed to deeper problems for the government.
Well, potentially what it tells us that there is a limited appetite in the investment community to continue to buy government bonds, and the background to that is a genuine problem with the size of the budget deficit in the UK.
And this the day after the Governor of the Bank of England warned that another big fiscal boost to the economy would not be affordable because borrowing was so high. It made for some sparky exchanges in the Commons.
Yesterday, the Governor of the Bank of England warned against another significant round of fiscal expansion when the deficit is already as big as it is. This morning, apparently, the gilt auction has failed for the first time in many years.
I would agree with the right honourable gentleman that it is a defining time. Yes, it is a defining time, because whilst we take the action necessary, they would do nothing.
Dr. Vince Cable.
And the Liberal Democrat deputy leader tried to keep up the pressure on the government.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday we had a very British coup d'etat when the Governor of the Bank of England sent his tanks down the Mall and effectively seized control of the British economy through his command of monetary policy and put the government under house arrest.
One leading city investor has urged clients to start buying shares again because he's optimistic about the economy. Ministers will be pleased about that, but what they really want is for investors to keep buying government bonds. While today's episode is not a disaster, it's certainly a warning that if the government wants to increase borrowing, it can't take the markets for granted. Hugh Pym, BBC News, in the City.
Well, let's go back to Nick Robinson, our political editor, who's travelling with Mr Brown. He's in New York. Nick, what effect is this continued resistance having now on the Prime Minister's thinking, on his planning?
Well, for months now, Hugh, whether at home or abroad, the Prime Minister has been banging the drum for a big new stimulus to the world economy. Well, on this trip, that drumbeat has got decidedly quieter. The emphasis being on what the bankers have got wrong and what governments need to do to regulate them. Now, is the Prime Minister listening to those siren voices in Europe who are so concerned? Is he listening to the Governor of the Bank of England? Is it the markets he's worried about? The answer is probably all of the above. He's very fond of history, Gordon Brown. He said here again that the world should not repeat the mistakes of the London summit held many years ago in 1933, when there was no agreement and the Great Depression followed. At that time, the great British economist John Maynard Keynes said that the answer was to spend your way out of depression. Mr Brown recalled to the media he addressed this morning that a Treasury official had written on Keynes's work, inflation, extravagance, bankruptcy. The same warnings are being heard today, and whether he likes it or not, the Prime Minister is having to listen.
Nick, thank you very much. Nick Robinson, now our political editor in New York. Well, on the day, the Prime